As I posted the other day, this very blatant effort to basically send a message, most exemplified by Vance and Musk and others, that, you know, what we really need from you women are more children. And
how's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Hillary Clinton saying a few interesting things about migrants, the economy, and regular everyday Americans. You and I, born and bred Americans. Who is the priority for the government? At least the Democratic side of the aisle. Who's the priority? Regular everyday Americans, the migrants, or a combination of both? Now, what she said here comes as no surprise. They want to use the migrants as the underclass, the labor class. That's the whole game. While I guess the Americans are supervisors, or I'm not really sure. Well, some Americans, people like Hillary Clinton, who are worth billions of dollars. I'm exaggerating, but they're rich. They may benefit from having the migrants come in because they're not going to live around them. They'll serve them and they'll get whatever they want for a very low cost. But Americans, what are we to do when the migrants come in and they do all the jobs that we want to do? They, meaning the elites like Hillary Clinton, will say, the migrants do jobs that you don't want to do. Really? These guys are out here driving trucks. They're doing HVAC work. They're doing everything, desirable jobs. And they'll say, well, the reason why they're doing those jobs is because there's not enough Americans that are available to fill these empty positions. Is that the case? Or are you flooding us with this migrant labor to drive down the cost of goods and services to say, hey, we fixed inflation? Well, guess what? Things may be a little bit cheaper because of the migrant labor, but Americans don't have jobs. So how can I buy these things? How can I afford to live if I don't have the jobs taken up by the migrants? Now, before I go any further, let's get to a few clips here. Of course, I will link to both of these clips in the description box if you want to see it and hear it without my commentary. If you're on IG, Facebook, etc., visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
What advice do you have for the first female president of the United States?
Now, what was that? What advice do you have for the first female president of the USA, or as? Because we know Hillary Clinton got curb stomped not once, but twice. The first time by Barack Obama in the 2008 primary, then again by Donald Trump in the 2016 general election.
well, first of all, don't be a handmaiden to the patriarchy.
Handmaiden to the patriarchy. What does that mean? Does that mean that she thinks if you support men and you support women and their natural roles, that means you're less than the man, you're irrelevant in society, and the men dominate and do whatever they want? Is that what she's saying? I'm not really sure. If y'all know, let me know in the comments.
Which kind of eliminates every woman on the other side of the aisle, except for very few. Lisa Murkowski.
Very reminiscent of her previous comments about basket of deplorables.
Be grossly generalistic. You can put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right?
But I digress.
Liz Cheney.
Yeah, there's a few. Look, first we have to get there, and it is, you know, obviously so much harder than it should be. So, you know, if a woman runs who I think would be a good president, as I thought Kamala Harris would be, and as I knew I would be, I will support that woman.
Y'all knew full well that Kamala was not going to do a good job. Y'all knew that from the beginning because of her performance in the 2020 primary, where she came in dead last, even beyond Pete Buttigieg and everybody else that ran. Amy Klobuchar, checking like Muhammad Ali. Y'all knew she was bad from the beginning, so please don't feed me that. All right, but let's keep on going here.
As I posted the other day, this very blatant effort to basically send a message, most exemplified by Vance and Musk and others, that, you know, what we really need from you women are more children.
And the women laugh. The reality is we do need to increase the birth rate. It's very low. We're talking about 1.66 in the USA, which is well below replacement of 2.1. And if you guys don't know what that means, the replacement rate refers to how many children each woman should have on average to keep population the same. That number in the West is about 2.1. When you go to third world type places, it's like 2.4, 2.5 maybe, because you have a higher rate of infant mortality. In the West, we need about 2.1. We're at about 1.66. Now, go to some places, some developed nations like South Korea, it's below 1. It's like 0.77, very low and unsustainable. If you keep that trajectory going, you will have no more humans in that area. And if we have that low birth rate worldwide, humanity will cease to exist.
And what that really means is you should go back to doing what you were born to do, which is to produce more children.
Why is that a bad thing? Why is that a bad thing? We have roles. Men have roles. Women have roles. Okay, men should do more of what we're here to do, protect, provide, all that good stuff. And women at a certain point got to have kids, because if they're not, then how will we continue to live as humans?
And they're talking about, cash benefits for the more children you have. This has been tried, by the way, in other countries, and it has not worked. Or medals if you have 6 children, while they're contemplating cutting Medicaid, while they have no interest in paid family leave or funding quality child care. They're cutting Head Start. I mean, you go down the list.
Okay, I mean, a lot of those things you mentioned, that's cool and all, but I don't think that'll solve the problem of the low birth rate.
List of all the programs that support child rearing and the care of children and create, some safety net for women who are in the workforce, the formal workforce, as well as, raising children. So this is another performance about concerns they allegedly have for family life. But if you had read the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025, despite Trump saying he knew nothing about it, if you had read it, it's all in there.
Let's pause for a minute. Now, just because there are some things in Project 2025 that are happening right now does not mean that the reason why it's happening is because it was in Project 2025. Here's an example. In Project 2025, they may say, okay, we have a goal of reducing carbon emission. I'm not saying that's in there, but just stick with me. So if the president comes out and says, okay, we're going to reduce carbon emission, is that because Project 2025 said it, or is that a common thing that gets spoken about all the time, all over the world? You see, but that's just more of her fear mongering, trying to make you think, oh, well, we were right to scare you about Project 2025 because look at what's going on. They said we got to increase the birth rate, and that's in Project 2025. So aren't you scared?
It's all in there. Return to the family, the nuclear family, return to being a Christian nation.
These are things that have existed as ideals for hundreds, if not thousands of years. How old is the Bible? At least 2,000 years old at this point? Those things are right there in the Bible. So are you going to say Project 2025 is the reason why people are trying to follow principles that they got from the Bible?
Return to, producing a lot of children, which is sort of odd because the people who produce the most children in our country are immigrants, and they want to deport them. So none of this adds up. But, one of the reasons why our economy did so much better than comparable advanced economies across the world is because we actually had a replenishment, because we had a lot of immigrants legally and undocumented.
That's a crazy word to use, replenishment. That sounds a lot like slavery. Actually, it's the exact same thing. Now, don't get on me talking about, well, they didn't get beat and lynched, and they... Just stop being so offended. It's the same ideology. Okay, you bring in vulnerable people to work for nothing or next to nothing for the lowest costs possible. And since they're vulnerable, they can't really go anywhere. They have laws that are kind of keeping them in place. They're going to be motivated to go to work every day and work for a low amount of money. So she's saying, well, rather than Americans having more children, rather than Americans keeping America going, we bring in migrants from all over the world and have them keep America going, at least as far as the workforce, the lower class workforce is concerned.
Who had a, larger than normal by American standards family. So this is just another one of their, make America great again by returning to the lifestyles and the economic arrangements of not just the 1950s. I mean, let's keep going back as far as we can and, see what happens. So,
well, if you go all the way back, we get what you were talking about, which is slavery. Bringing in vulnerable people and making them work for next to nothing. That's the same thing that happened during slavery. We fought a war over that and we abolished it, but you guys keep trying to bring it back. Now, as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to everybody who is against slavery. I thought we were beyond that. I didn't think it was still really a thing, but obviously it still is. It's really a thing. Using humans, taking advantage of them to drive down costs, to make things cheaper, and to benefit the elites. Because again, Americans need those jobs. They'll say Americans don't want to do those jobs. But I'm seeing plenty of truck drivers and skilled people saying, hey, I'm out of work because of the migrants. I know guys that are doing lawn care, maintenance, all kind of stuff who are struggling to find work because they brought in the migrants. See, that right there is a problem. They think it's okay because it helps them. They don't really see what regular everyday Americans are going through in this country. They don't deal with the crime. They don't deal with the lack of jobs. They don't deal with what we're going through. And if you really want to try to increase the birth rate, it's going to be difficult either way you slice it, because the same thing happening here is happening all over the world. What you could do is take a crack at that family court. Start with the family court and fix some of that, and then we can talk from there. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about what Hillary Clinton said? Do you think that we need the migrants to do work in America? Are they the actual solution here or not? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. What Hillary Clinton said there is no different than what Democrats have been saying since the beginning. The first Republican president was who? Abraham Lincoln. What did he do? Free the slaves. And they deleted him for it. They deleted him for it because they didn't want that system to end. And here they are, 2025, trying to bring back something like that system again. It's pretty obvious to me, but whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I gotta say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.